Here's the plan for this video. I want to get full text search going on one of my course websites. Specifically, we're going to do high-performance SQLite.com. It's a very good course. If you're looking to learn SQLite, please go check it out. What I need to do is give the user the ability to search across all the titles of the videos, but more importantly, across all the transcripts. And the transcripts are many tens of thousands of words. I think it's like 7, 8, 9 hours of content. And so you can imagine that is a lot of words. We're going to be using Laravel with Typesense here. And Typesense did sponsor this video. So thanks, Typesense, for keeping my dreams alive. I appreciate that. We're going to be integrating Typesense with Laravel Scout and then in the end with Vue.js. The first thing I need to tell you is Typesense is open source. What I'm going to be showing you here, I didn't pay anything for. I actually didn't even create an account for any of this. I just brew installed it and I'm running Typesense locally. So that's kind of nice. The second thing we have to talk about, for goodness sakes, if you load typesense.org, they default to recipes with steamed mussels. Nobody wants that. So let's go ahead and type in pizza. That's a lot better. Homemade pizza dough. Much better than steamed broccoli. So this is what we're going to be using. I have already completed this behind the scenes because dealing with homebrew can sometimes take a long time. This actually didn't, but I installed Brew Typesense server and then I started the server. So it is running here on my Mac. You don't have to do it this way. You could do Docker, Kubernetes. You could do a bunch of different ways. I just did it this way because it was easiest. I will say, if you don't want to muck around with any of that, they do have Typesense Cloud, which is a hosted version, and that can make your life a lot easier depending on kind of what you're after. Moving on, we have already installed this. We're going to be using Laravel Scout, and fortunately, Laravel Scout has documentation for Typesense. If you're not familiar with Laravel Scout, it's a first-party package from the Laravel team that adds full text search to your Laravel application, and it is driver-based. So it provides a common interface, and you can use any one of the drivers. We're going to be using the Typesense driver. That is the whole point of this video. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to require Scout and the Typesense PHP SDK. So we're going to install both of those things. And then after that, I think what we probably want to do is we want to say vendor publish, and we're going to look for, not Typesense, we're actually going to look for Scout. So we're going to publish the scout.php, which is the config file. So hopping over to PHP Storm, let's look at scout.php, and here we go. There is already a Typesense array in here. And so you can see these are the different configurations: Algolia, MileySearch or MeliSearch, I never know. And the default is set to, if we come all the way up here, you'll see that the default is set to Algolia. So let's hop over into our env. And we've already set that to Typesense. So we're good there. And coming back here, and we'll look for Typesense. This is the default. So when you brew install it, it is set up to localhost 8108. And so we should be good to go there. Now, the next question is, how do we get all of our data out of our database into the Typesense indexes? And fortunately, Scout makes this super easy. So we're going to open models video here, and we're going to say that it is searchable. That's pretty much all we have to do. We're going to add a few things here. And so let's say searchable as, and we're just going to give this an index name. So we'll say video index. And that lets us control the name of the index, which we will need on the front end later. And this also lets us separate, let's say we've got users and documents and videos, and we want to be able to search them one at a time. That's how we do this. Now, we also need to do toSearchable So what toSearchable does is, instead of sending the entire video object over, which can contain a bunch of columns I don't actually want to search against, this lets us control what we send to Typesense. So here, what we're going to do is, in fact, let's check the docs, because there's one interesting thing that we have to do here. We have to cast the ID to a string, and we have to cast created at to a timestamp. So we're going to yoink, that's mine now, and whoops, messed that up, and we're going to put that in Actually, I just want those parts. I want to do this all myself. So we're going to put that in there. That is correct. So because of the way that Typesense works, you have to cast it to a string and to this this integer instead of a datetime object. The only other things that I want to include, I want to say, let's do title and let's do transcript. So for transcript, I'm going to say this transcript, and then I know that it is a JSON, so we're casting transcript to JSON, and then all the good stuff is inside this content key. So that's all we're sending over. We're sending over the ID, which is required to link up Laravel's Eloquent and Typesense. We're sending created at as an integer to help sort, and then the two things we actually want to search against are the title and the transcript. Now, this is kind of our schema, right? This is our searchable schema. However, we need to be more explicit about that. So coming over to scout.php, back in the Typesense, if you scroll down here, you'll see you've got model settings. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to uncomment these, and I'm going to say instead of user, it's actually video. And fields, we have ID as a string, which we just talked about. We have name as a string, which in our case, it's actually title. And we have created at as an int64, which was that timestamp conversion we did on the Carbon object. So we're good to go. The only thing we need to add is transcript type string, default sorting created at query by. We don't have name anymore. Name doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm going to put title first and then transcript. You can assign different weights. So you can say that a hit on title is worth 3 times as much as a hit on transcript, for example. You can add that parameter right down here. I'm not going to do that right now because according to the documentation, whichever one you put first has the highest weight if the weights aren't specified. Title first, transcript after. Hey, seems pretty good to me. All right, so we're good to go. We're this close to importing all of our data and being able to search. We're going to start by searching on the command line because it's very easy to set up, and then we're going to muck around on the front end and set up a little bit of a nice autocomplete. We love a little autocomplete. So before we do that, let's look at AR Scout. AR is just my shorthand for PHP Artisan. Here are the Scout options. Delete all, no. Delete, flush, import. That looks like the one we want to do. So import a given model. So let's clear this out. AR Scout import, and let's see what we get. Missing model. Perfect. So the model is app models video. Now, if we run that, we see 141 videos were imported into Typesense. Everything seems to be working so far. It seems too good to be true. Let's do composer require Laravel prompts. We're going to have a little fun here. And there we go. Almost. There we go. Okay, so we've imported all of our videos and we've required Laravel prompts. So what we're going to do is, this is my command where I just do stuff. So we're going to take search and we're going to import Laravel prompts search. And let's see what we need to do here. Label options placeholder. So we're going to do it like this. We're going to say label search for a video. Then options takes a closure. So let's make this a little not insane, and we'll say that the closure accepts a string of value, and if strlen of value is greater than 0, then we're going to do some kind of search. Otherwise, we're going to return an empty array. So the search that we're going to do, let's break out here and here. The search that we're going to do is using Laravel Scout, which under the hood is going to use Typesense. So we're going to say video search for value. That's the interface. That's it. That's all you have to do. And then we're going to say get all of those, and then we're going to pluck. I don't remember the order that we're supposed to pluck them in. I think it's title, ID, and then we're going to turn that into an array. So let's just see if that worked. That would be pretty awesome if that actually worked. So if we run and we do, hey, it actually, I'm not going to lie, I did not expect that to work first time. I thought I was going to have to cut and retake that. I love it when it works first time. Okay, so it worked. I'm not super impressed because I'm searching basically by title. And so what if, I guess I am impressed, but I'm not proving that it's searching by transcript also. So if I type favorite, I remember when I was recording this course talking about how my favorite data transport format is JSON. So this makes sense to me that JSON is coming up first, even though favorite is not in the title. So we can go back to JSON, or we could go back to indexes is probably everywhere. And so now if we do that, then there you go. We've got nonsense because I didn't do anything. So if we did ID equals that and dump out the ID and run this again and do indexes, now that's the ID of the video that we just selected. It's very cool so far, right? In a matter of just a few minutes, we've set up Typesense, we've got Laravel Scout running, we imported all of our data, we ran a search, we used Laravel prompts, which is awesome. It's very cool. I think the real use case is not running it on the command line. As much as I just want to say, hey, look, it's cool, awesome, thanks, see ya. Come on, hey, people want to see this on the front end, right? So we have to carry on. And the good news is we're back here on the Typesense documentation, right where we left off with the homebrew installation, but come down here to Search UI components. Using InstantSearch.js, the good folks over at Algolia have built and open sourced a set of UI components, React, Vue, and Angular. So there's this interesting thing happening amongst all these search competitors where they're like, ooh, let's all do the same front end. We can customize it, whatever, and we'll build our own backends. Kind of awesome. Makes everyone's lives much easier. So thank you for doing that. If we look, we've got Algolia InstantSearch here. It is a mono repo, so it's got the React, Vue, and Angular all in here. And then we have the Typesense adapter that is Typesense InstantSearch adapter. So we're going to be using both of those things together, and I'll leave links to this down in the description. And so let's hop over here, and we are going to npm install the CSS and then TypeScript, that's the adapter, and then Vue InstantSearch because we're using Vue.js locally. And if we run that, that worked a lot faster than I expected and with a lot fewer warnings. So now we've got all of that. Let's take a look at, we're using Vue.js. So with Vue InstantSearch, I am just gonna yoink, take that. And here is what we've got going so far. It's not my best work. I just have the word search written. It's a start. So if we come over here, that is where I wrote search, and I'm just going to paste all of that in. We'll take a look at this in a second. It's not quite right, but first we need to come over to app.js. So we need to import this InstantSearch plugin and then use that in our Vue.js application. So I am going to import InstantSearch from Vue 3, and then down here I have create app, I'm using a inertia plugin, and I'm going to just chain this on and say use the InstantSearch plugin as well. Now we can come back to search and we can start to clean this up just a little bit. The index name, remember we set up in video, we set up an index name as searchable as, and so we're just going to say searchable as video index. And then there are a few other things I want to clean up. I'm going to use XYZ, which is just the default key. I think that is a writable key. So if you were doing this in production, you'd want a read-only key. I'm just going to do that for now. And we have discussed it's localhost 8108. That is fine. And so we're just cleaning a little bit of this up. Remember, we want to query by title and then transcript. And remember, we're not going through Laravel Scout anymore. This is actually going to hit Typesense directly. And so if you feel like, wait, we're duplicating, we already said that on the back end. We did already say that on the back end, but this is skipping Scout altogether and going straight to the Typesense server, which is a lot faster and a lot more flexible because Scout just kind of searches and then returns the model. But here we want to highlight the hits. We want to show people the keywords that they searched for showing up in the transcript. All right, let's take a look at how we can build up this UI. So if we scroll back up here, you'll see we've got AIS Instant Search, and this is a component provided by that Algolia Instant Search package. And because we installed it with the Vue.js plugin, these components are just available to us everywhere. So you can see, yeah, the IDE is complaining, but these are available to us in all places. And you can then mix and match the components within. So the search box is what actually provides the place where you type, the search box. And then the hits that's where you see all of the results. So I've deleted everything that's in the hits because I want to build it up by ourselves together. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a template in there, and then we're going to receive the item, which is the hit. And then I'm just going to show you that we have access to a bunch of stuff, and then we'll do some cool things. The final thing I need to import is import instant search CSS themes Algolia min. We'll do that one. There are several themes that you can use that are just kind of straight out of the box. We're going to just start with that one. And so now if we look, we have search. It's not great, but we're getting closer. So if we say JSON, we see a bunch of stuff's changed. If we say favorite, whoa, we're really lagging because look at what we're putting into the browser. So not a great start. Well, in fact, a great start. Let's keep going though. Let us put something here. Let's do item.title. So this is the result out of Typesense. So if you're expecting this to match your Eloquent model, it doesn't. This is the to searchable array part. So now coming back here, hey, not bad. So much better, in fact. So you see we've got 10 results here, and if we were to change to, let's see, date, did I do anything about dates? There's dates down there. So you can see, yeah, we're doing some searching. Now, it's not quite good enough, in my opinion. I think what I want to do next is I want to, as the user is typing, I want to highlight the words that they're typing in the results. So if they type JSON, not only do they see relevant videos, but they see the word JSON highlighted. That's what we've come to know and love. The first thing, before we muck around up here, we need to come down here and send something additional to the server. So we're going to say highlight fields, and we're just going to say title and transcript again. So now we're telling the Typesense server, hey, as you're doing this searching, why don't you go ahead and highlight the fields, title and transcript, against the user's search intent. We can control the opening and closing tag, but it's fine. We're just going to keep on going. So if we were to do, what do we need to do now? We're going to use a different component. Instead of just dumping out item.title, we're going to use this AIS highlight component. And the attribute is title, and the hit, which is the search hit, is this item that we have v-slotted into scope here. So now if we come back here and we refresh, we can say JSON, and it worked. That's it. It totally worked. So you can see that the server is sending us back, and I think if we were to inspect this, I think it's marks maybe. Yeah, mark. So you can change that. It doesn't have to be mark. You can actually change it to be mark class and then put a Tailwind class in there. That's totally fine. This works well enough. Let's go ahead and get the transcript in there as well. The first thing I want to do before we do that is add a little bit of nice stuff here. So we're going to say font bold, and then we're going to come down here and we're going to take that, and we'll say highlight attribute transcript, and this is going to be wrong, by the way, so just hang on a second. So now if we look at that, it's right. You know, if I were to say favorite, you see favorite, but over here it always keyboard keys clacking. That is how all the videos start. This is not that great because favorite shows up way down there. So instead of highlight for the long guy, we're going to use snippet. And now that looks a lot better, except this part, but we'll fix that in a second. So if we say favorite, or if we say JSON. So now we're seeing just the snippet, just the relevant part that was highlighted. Now we did notice here in the beginning, they all start with keyboard keys, typing clicks, and then it's the entire transcript. There might be a way around this. I know one way around this. We're gonna use our old friend CSS. So we're just gonna say line clamp 2, and this is good also because a snippet might be super long, and I just really want to show them 2 lines. So look, we got a nice line clamp, we got a nice ... If we say favorite, then we have that. If we say JSON, lots of JSONs. If we say index, if we say Boolean, it's kind of awesome. I gotta be honest, it's kind of awesome. This is not what the final UI would look like, but I didn't want to, spend forever messing around with CSS, but this is very close. I just need to adjust the CSS now, and I have full text search across all of my transcripts, all of my videos, and of course, in here in this template, I could change these. To be links to link right out to the video. So hopefully that gives you a sense of the power of Laravel Scout plus Typesense together. We've barely scratched the surface of Typesense. When you're on the back end using Laravel Scout, all you're doing is you're getting back your models. So Laravel Scout goes to Typesense, it does the search, it pulls back the primary keys, and then it pulls the models out of the database, and then you just get your models. Like we looked at on the front end, you have a lot more control when you hit the Typesense server directly, because then you can do stuff like highlighting matches and all of that. On both sides, you can have fuzzy matches, you can have stop words, you can have minimum words, you can have all kinds of stuff, and I have barely scratched the surface of it all, but hopefully that gives you a sense of how quickly you can get full text search up and running on your site. Thank you to Typesense for letting me do this. Y'all, please go tell them thank you for supporting me. I'll leave all the links in the description down below. Please go watch some other video that I've made. They're all good. They're all very good. Until the next time, see ya.